Back to the Tobago Updates morning show. Beautiful morning, viewers. Remember this morning that we're coming to you live from the 3rd floor, Port Mall, Lower Scarborough, Tobago. And this is the Tobago Updates morning show. We are chatting at this time with Dr. Faith B. Israel, who is the Secretary for the Division of Health, Wellness, and Social Protection. We have to keep reminding ourselves because of the recent, well, not so recent changes, but yeah. And so this morning, viewers, our focus is on food vendors, or food vending and food safety. Good morning and welcome to you, Dr. Faith.
Hi, good morning, Ria. Thanks for having me. And yes, I have to remind myself of the name sometimes as well, so that's fine. There are some divisions that I refuse to even try to remember what the new name is.
So we've got to keep it going, keep mentioning it. All right, well, it's good to have you on the program with us. You know, even as we focus this morning on food vending or food vendors and food safety, we are into the Easter vacation. We've got a lot of persons coming to the island. We've got several activities this evening. We've got In Its Presence, Day 2 taking place in Roxborough, In Its Presence at 𝐾𝗢𝗢𝗙 Cultural Complex for the international night, tomorrow night. We've got jazz coming up later on in April. A lot of persons trying to earn an income, earn a living, but doing so safely for themselves and for the general public. So we're not going to get into specifics,
right?
But very quickly on, I want to start off the discussion this morning on how do we as Tobagonians, Tobago has a way of doing things that makes us Tobagonians, our traditional way of life. How do we marry the Tobago, our Tobagoness, our Tobago way of doing things, earn an income and maintain safe practices?
You know, and I'm glad you started there, because that is the foundation of why we are here. We need to ensure, and you started by highlighting the fact that we have a lot of activities happening this weekend. We are going into Easter, we are going into jazz, we're going into all of these activities. And when we have those activities, we benefit when foreigners come, when Trinidadians come, when everyone comes.
When we come out of
our own homes. And what I do not want is a situation where all of these individuals are on the island, we've eaten something, and then we have gotten sick. That makes my problem even bigger, because now you're going to be crowding the hospital, crowding the health centers with gastrointestinal issues, you're vomiting, diarrhea, and all of that stuff. So that is what we want to prevent. What we've been telling all our food vendors, and when we say food, we mean food and drink, so solid and liquid, everything, that you need to ensure that you provide the food that you provide. Yes, it needs to be tasty. Yes, it needs to be Tobagonian, but most importantly, it needs to be safe. And that is why we have been pushing, particularly those of you who are selling foods to, yes, our locals, but to the foreigners during this period. Let us be safe. When I was chatting with my public health inspectors over the last couple of weeks, because this is something that we've been working on over the last couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, the public health department maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago sent out a public notice indicating we are having a zero tolerance as it relates to food safety, and that is going to start from the 1st of April. So from tomorrow, zero tolerance, because coming out of Carnival, we realized that a lot of people, probably because of COVID, you know, we were home for the 2-3 years, we allowed the food badges to lapse a little bit because we were not going out, we were not having the food badge lectures and all of that. A lot of people may have simply forgotten all of the things that they know are safe, safety practices as it relates to food. So coming out of Carnival, we realized that a lot of our food vendors were simply not doing the right thing. The public health inspectors went and spoke to a lot of them around the Carnival period and said, you know what, we are giving you an opportunity to bring yourself up to speed. We are giving you an opportunity to do what is right. And now that we are at this point, you need to be at that point, because the thousands of people who are going to come onto the island, we need to make sure they are safe. We need to make sure that the thousands of us on the island who buy food outside, that we are safe.
Food establishment owners, what are some of the things that they must have in place?
So one of the things that we are stressing is that, one, you must have a food badge that has the date 2023 on it. Full stop. As of tomorrow, the 1st of April, you must have a food badge that says 2023. The other thing that must be on that food badge, it must say that you got it from the Tobago House of Assembly. Because we have a situation where most people don't recognize that it is the local government or the municipalities that are responsible for issuing food badges. So if you get a food badge from the Port of Spain City Corporation or 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻 Borough or one of those, you really are only supposed to use that food badge in the area that you got it. So if you have a food badge from Trinidad somewhere, it is really not legal for you to use that in Tobago. Same thing, vice versa. If you get a food badge in Tobago, you can't just pick up and go to Trinidad with that. They will not recognize it. So if you are vending in Tobago, you need to have a food badge that says 1/2023 and from the Tobago House of Assembly. Now, to get to that point, it means you would have gone through a lecture where we discuss the food safety practices and so forth. It means you would have also gotten your medical certificate indicating that you are healthy and you are healthy enough to sell food and those things. And that is what is required for you to sell in Tobago from tomorrow.
Now, we've had cases, as you mentioned, that if you're living in Tobago, it must be issued by the Tobago House of Assembly, vice versa, Port of Spain, 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻, etc. What about those persons who you're going to assist a relative with a barbecue in Trinidad? Are you now required to have one from the 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻 Borough because you would be plying trade in 𝐼𝐻𝐼𝐻?
Yes, and I think that is one of the regulations that we probably really did not know in Trinidad and Tobago. That yes, wherever you are applying the trade, wherever you are selling food, you need to have your food badge from that district, from that municipality, from that local government entity. So what we've done in Tobago, because we understand that this is it's an important time. This is an opportunity for our people to make money. Jazz, Easter, all of these things. We have put into place several key opportunities for people who may not have the food badge. So if you know, for example, that you want a vend for Easter next week, week after, or you want a vend for Jazz the end of the month, or you just have your regular shop, restaurant, or selling punch or whatever it is, you have an opportunity to actually get into a training that's happening next week so that you can get your food badge by next week.
Training next week, food badge next week.
As a matter of fact, what normally happens is that we have the training happens every Thursday, I think was the schedule. Because we know that this is coming up, we actually have a special training schedule for Wednesday and another training schedule for Thursday next week. But to get onto those trainings, and that is why I'm here today, because even though, I kind of thought that today was a holiday too, to be honest.
It was not just me.
It was not just you. It was yesterday. I thought, wait, tomorrow is the 31st. That is not a holiday.
No, not even a weekend.
Exactly, it's not even the weekend. So if you want to get into that session or any of those sessions next week, Wednesday or Thursday, you need to call one of two numbers. You can call, you can WhatsApp, you can message them. If you're calling, of course, do it between normal hours 8 to 4. But if you are WhatsApp messaging, you can do it anytime, and we will get to you. Again, the numbers are there on the screen: 723-3440 or 488-8465. You can call those numbers between 8 to 4, Monday to Friday, or you can WhatsApp those numbers, but you need to do it. You need to do it by Monday. So you have today, and that's one of the reasons I came out today. You have today, you have over the weekend, and you have by Monday
to send in the WhatsApp.
And what information? Call to say, I am one of those people. I want to vend quickly. I have my business open now. I don't want a letter come and shut me down. So I want to get into one of those trainings, the training either on Wednesday next week or Thursday next week. When you do that, they would then tell you yes, because we are opening it up to as many people as possible, and we'll be scheduling it throughout the day. It's not a very long training, so we are scheduling multiple sessions throughout the day on Wednesday and Thursday. When you do that, you will then be told to come by Tuesday the 4th, to get your package. Now, you may get your package before that if you call today, you could go today to get your package.
Right.
If you call Monday, you could go Monday, but you have until Tuesday to get your package, because the package will tell you exactly what is necessary to come to the training on Wednesday or Thursday. And let me tell you what is necessary so that you can start doing it one time. You need 2 passport-size photos, because, you know, the food batch has your picture on it. By the way, every person who is in the establishment who is selling food needs a food badge.
Now, I'm glad that you touched on that issue. Whose responsibility is it to acquire, obtain, or ensure that employees have in their possession their own food badge? Is it the employers? Is it the employee?
So who is the person who gets penalized if the employee does not have it? We are shutting down, and I say we because my public health inspectors, we are all part of the same team. We shut down the entire establishment.
If I do not possess,
if you have an employee who is working in your establishment who does not have their own food badge, we don't have community food badges or business food badge, it's an individual food badge. If you have an employee who does not have a food badge, and we have actually been to certain spaces, and I won't call any names specifically, where none of the people who were there had food badges at all. So it's not even like they had an old one from last year or year before or whatever. They didn't have any at all. If that is the case, you simply cannot operate, you simply cannot sell food, and public health, which, by the way, seems to be the people with the most authority in Tobago, they will shut you down. So as a business owner, it is in your benefit to ensure that all of your employees who are in your establishment have their own individual food badge.
I want to ask very quickly, the rights of the consumer, the rights of the individual going to purchase food. Do we have the right as consumers to ask, excuse me, do you possess a food badge? May I see it? Or, you know, is that not our business?
As a matter of fact, the food badge should be displayed. The food badge should be in a space where you can see it, so you don't even have to ask. And if you, because it may be a situation where the place is not set up where you can display it, that's fine. You can ask them. And yes, you have the right. As a matter of fact, this is a two-way street. We are chatting with those who are the vendors, who want to ply their trade, but we're also chatting with those of us who are going to be purchasing the food. You need to ensure that the food you purchase is a safe food. And yes, looking for a food badge is one of the things you must look for. Looking for clean running water to make sure that they could wash their hands. By the way, I know we just came out of COVID where we were doing alcohol sanitizers for everything. If you are talking about food handling, using just a sanitizer is not going to cut it. You need to actually have soap and water. Wash all your hands, please, with soap and water. That is what we need, particularly in food establishments. You need to ensure that they're wearing aprons. You need to ensure that their hair is covered. I am sure no one wants to take a piece of pilau and need the spoon of pilau, and as you pull down, the spoon is here.
Why do you have to go there, Dr. Payne?
Because that is what it is. That is what it is. You don't want hair in your pilau. So you want to make sure that the person who's serving your pilau, the person who cooking your pilau, have their hair covered so they don't have pilau. If they don't have hair in the pilau, by the way, you see what I am wearing?
You don't want hairy pilau.
By the way, what I'm wearing, this armless, armhole, or whatever, sleeveless, what we call it,
yes.
This is not allowed if you're selling food again, because even though you don't want the hair from up here in the pilau, you don't want hair from below here in your pilau either. Do you? Listen, let us be real.
Did Dr. Faith just say that?
Yes, I did.
On air?
Yes,
on
I
Tobago
did.
Update?
Because that is what my public health inspectors are looking for. You need to ensure, for example, that the hot foods are hot. So, for example, again, going back to pilau, the pilau needs to be in a thing that keeps it hot, you know. Lights under it so that the water stays hot, kind of thing. But the coleslaw needs to be kept cold. So the coleslaw needs to be in a fridge or on a bed of ice so that the coleslaw stays cold. And you have to look for that when you are going in. And if it's not there, if it's not up to par, don't buy the food. Now, you don't have to go on Facebook and cuss up the people and them or anything like that. You don't need to do that. But you can, ma'am, this is something that you need to bring. This is something that you need to think about. This is what is going to make it safe so that we are all safe.
Question coming in. Do the food badges apply to fast food chains?
Anywhere you are selling food or drinks, as long as you are selling food or drinks, you need the food badge. Now, the larger fast food chains, what may happen is that they may actually have the individual badges somewhere in the back, in the manager's office or something like that. But you can ask for it because they all should have it. By the way, let me say no. My public health inspectors are going around inspecting establishments, inspecting big establishments, inspecting small establishments. And they have my blessing to shut down any establishment that is not following the rules. Or let's stop calling me when all you're about to get shut down. I'm not going against my public health inspectors.
No, right is right.
I am not going against my public health inspectors. Right is right, wrong is wrong. We need to follow the rules because, as I said before at the beginning, when you get sick, when you now have gastrointestinal issues, it then becomes my problem again to make sure that you get rehydrated and you're filling up the hospital and the health centers and all of that. So no, let's do the right thing up front so that we don't have to deal with those negative consequences in the end.
Well, you started off a little earlier on talking about the requirements for obtaining a food badge. You started with 2 passport pics, and then we went off on some really interesting topics. Yes.
So yes, 2 passport pictures. You need a form of national ID. So either your ID card or your passport is needed. You need a medical report. Now, the thing about the medical report is it can't be older than 2 weeks old. So if you are going next week, get your medical report today or Monday or Tuesday or so. It cannot be older than 2 weeks old. And of course, the $20 fee. The $20 handling fee, which is what is required. It's a minimal cost to print the food badge and laminate it. It's only $20.
Hasn't that $20 been around for some time now?
And that's the thing about our public health laws. Our public health laws are like 100 years old. They are so old that they are ridiculous. They are archaic. So yes, it is still only $20. But again, if you are vending, it means that you can definitely afford it. To get the medical, we do not, well, unless you find a doctor that really is doing it on their own. The Tobago Regional Health Authority does not really provide these medicals. So it means you need to go to a private doctor to get the medical done. So again, we are not charging you a lot of money to do the actual food badge. It means you can take the money and go to a private doctor and get your medical relatively quickly because it needs to be less than 2 weeks old.
All right. On View on the Live says, if you're selling drinks alone like a bar, food badge is necessary?
As long as you are selling food and drinks, food badge is necessary. Even if you're just selling punch, even if you're just selling a stucker bag, food badges are necessary.
Lady Benjamin says, I honestly wish we had a food grading system posted at the establishments. Are we heading in that direction?
We are heading in that direction. As a matter of fact, one of the things, I'm not sure if you remember, a couple months ago, we launched the 𝗙𝗢𝗢 Tourism Health program in Tobago, where we have all of these guidelines and so forth. And one of the areas we are moving into is having establishments with this little thing that says, this is an establishment that has met all of our basic guidelines, our basic minimum requirements, and putting that stamp of approval on those establishments. So we are not there yet, but we are definitely heading in that direction.
Thank you so much, Dr. Faith. And those numbers to call again to register for the workshop?
Yes, 723-3440, 723-3440, or 488-8465. Again, 488-8465.
Thank you so much. So you've got just a few days to register. Today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
You have to collect your package by Tuesday, and then the dates are either on Wednesday or on Thursday next week. And we are going to push. I mean, the staff, my public health staff, are the best. I don't care what anybody say. I had the best staff at TRHA, at Health, Social Protection. I had the best staff in Tobago. My public health staff are going above and beyond. And by the end of the week, by Thursday, you would be able to get your food badge. Thursday, Friday. So by next week, you would get your food badge. So that would allow you to not miss too much days, to not miss the sales and all of that.
All right, thank you. Bearing in mind that next week Friday is a holiday.
Oh, it is? What holiday is next week Friday?
Good Friday.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It is, it is.
Good Friday, yes. That's what happens that's in the Caribbean, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago. Very quickly here, a viewer on the live is asking, what about farmers and fruit vendors? And that's our final question.
Right, so farmers and fruit vendors are a different thing, because when you are selling fruits, it is as if you are selling vegetables and those things. Those are not ready-made processed foods. So they do not require you having a food badge in the traditional way we think of food. When we think of food, it means that you are actually preparing the food, you are doing something with the food, you are cooking it, you are preparing it, you are putting it together. When you are selling fruits or vegetables on the side of the road, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope I am not, that is not required to have this kind of food badge. I hope I'm not wrong, but I don't think that that category is required. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know.
Thank you, and I know you will forward us,
yes,
or furnish us rather with the information, the correct information. Thank you so much, Dr. Faith, for being on the program with us.
Thanks for having me.
Certainly looking forward to it. And remember, we've got quite a busy next few weeks. We've got Easter weekend coming up, and like I said, a lot's happening over the Easter weekend. So be mindful, be careful of where you are purchasing your food. Okay, definitely. All right, so viewers, up next, we will be chatting with Braden Roberts, the Tutor Tobago officer. Along with him this morning, Mr. Steve Peterkin, who is the district field officer for Tutor Tobago. They're going to be on the program this morning as we focus on SCA. Is there an alternative? So lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Viewers, share the live, share the live, share the live.